Right, nog 'n Brul Bêk en vandag het ons bietjie vir Moya ook by. Dis nie net ek en Eugene nie. Moya,
Mhm.
welcome back.
Thank you, thank you.
Uh, since you weren't here on the last podcast, maybe your thoughts on that last game against the Sharks, that massive performance of our Lions?
Ooh, I can tell you, I was a very, very, very pleased man. Um, you know, looking at that, that's the sort of ruthless edge that we need. I will say I did get slightly worried because close to the end of the first half, we gifted them a try, and then it looked like we had gifted them another try. And that had me a little concerned. But here's the thing: second half rolls along, we kept them scoreless. And actually, if not for our mistake in the first half, we actually could have kept them scoreless the whole game, which is a massive positive sign for us, I think.
And like me and Eugene said, we discussed it. Everything was planned out. It was an executed game plan. The guys didn't look
Yes.
like they were wondering what to do. They was
Hmm.
intent on the attack, intent every time.
Exactly. I mean, even Nohambe's try, that honestly looked like he deliberately made it look like, oh, I fumbled the ball, because instantly people will think, oh, okay, that's going to be a knock on. That moment of hesitation was all he needed, and he went through.
Oh no, that's. I think. I think that caught the Sharks completely off guard.
Yeah.
Well, I think no, not only the Sharks, but even the spectators and the supporters of the Lions. He caught completely off guard because we all, I think, had, what is he doing now? And
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was just a piece of absolute brilliance.
Yeah. No, agreed. I mean, even when I saw the replay, I was like, wait, okay, no, but he didn't knock that on. He knocked it backwards. That's correct. And it was just a thing of beauty. His cross kick as well. That cross kick was just, yeah. I think there that seemed like a team that had a plan. And that's
Yeah,
something I absolutely appreciate, because I want to say Ricardo Lobsher needs to take a bow, because if that's the type of attack we can pull off under his guidance, we need to keep that going.
yeah. Well, that game also showed the actual flair and brilliance of Namba.
Yes.
And looking at his performance, in that game, um, I won't be surprised if he gets selected for the Portugal game
Yeah.
as in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Because look, Andre Pollard is not. He's maybe got 2 seasons left,
Mm.
maybe. And if you can start grooming Noamba now, oh my boy, that's gonna be. By the time he takes over from Pollard, he'll be on the top of his game, especially with Morne's guidance behind him. I think
Yeah.
he's got a brilliant future ahead of him.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Net een ding
Um,
was vir my. Yeah, sorry Moya, continue.
no, go ahead.
Die een ding wat vir my net seer gemaak het van daai Sharks game is ou arme Henko met sy knie. Nee, nou is hy uit. Ek sien hy's nie eens op die toer span nie, so daai kniebesering is seker ernstig. Weet julle dalk
Ja,
iets van vir hoe lank is hy uit of wat?
ek het niks gehoor nie, en jy absoluut niks, niks gelees, niks gehoor, niks gesien nie.
Mm. Yeah, no, same. I just heard, he's out, but I think I read somewhere where they said, he's out till past the tour. Because there was, I'll see if I can find where I read it now. Um, yeah, they were saying, he's out along with Ruan Venter, Corne Fourie, and Travis Gordon. But then Gianni Lombard, Ruan Strali, Rabs, and Reinhard Jonker are contenders to be called up to the squad for the third, and if we have a fourth game for the Champions Challenge Cup, if they're needed, they might be available for then.
Oh, okay. But now,
Well,
what does this?
just not Stroily, please. Whatever they do, not pick him.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he goes, he'll likely go to hold tackle bags. You know what I mean? It's like they wouldn't be like, okay, we're picking him to start necessarily, but it would be like, okay, we're picking you so if we have any more injuries, then there you are.
Yeah,
Ja, nee, kyk, dis
no,
die enigste ou wat jy kan
because
bekostig om 'n geel kaart te kry.
yeah,
Jy
no,
gaan hom nie mis nie.
he's worth an absolute zero. As far as I'm concerned, really, and the only reason why he's still around is because of his father.
Mm. But I will say this: he's someone who I think, especially at Curry Cup level, he's a grafter. But yeah, the thing is, the question always comes through. It's like, if he was at another team, would they keep him? But in fairness, much as he's with us, he's not getting a lot of game time either.
No, he's
If he
not.
was front and center all the time, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, that would be an issue. But yeah, I think also he has that thing of being a utility forward, which
Yeah.
helps his case just slightly.
Ek sien Albers is daarom reg, Willem Albers is reg want hy is in die toerspan. So dis hom 'n goeie
Ja,
ding.
ja.
Yeah.
Ek dink die Albers gaan nog 'n seisoen en ek dink dis sy
Nee,
finale.
ek
Hier is
dink
sy
dis
swanesang
ja.
hierdie. Ek dink dis
Ja.
sy laaste.
Ek dink
Hartseer, maar ja.
myself. Ja. Ja, ek
Kyk,
dink
hy was wat
myself.
so hard speel. Hy was wat so hard speel. Hulle gaan nie gaan tot 38, 39 jaar oud nie. Dis 'n bietjie baie
I mean,
moeilik.
it's I tell you what, it is amazing that he's able to soldier on as he has. But yeah, I think it is one of those where I'm thinking he plays this URC season, possibly the upcoming Curry Cup, and then calls it. Because
It's the same. It's the same with what's his name from the Sharks, Audrey Leroux. I mean,
yeah,
he's been part of the furniture for how long?
yeah,
Going back to the Cheetahs. I mean, that's basically where he started. And
yeah.
then he's in, then he's out, then he's in, then he's out, then he's in, then he's out.
En nou Osterrand ook. Hy was deel van die meubels.
Ja, wel, hy en Helgard Muller.
Ja, Helgard ook. Ja, ek wonder hoeveel jaar het hy was sy rugby span by die Cheetahs gewees.
Ek weet
Dit
nie,
moet meer as hier by 15 daar rond wees, maklik.
Dit is baie maklik en wel ek meen is my basis dieselfde met Roan ook. Ja, Roan het nou vir ander spanne ook gespeel, maar ek meen dis waar hy basis rugby begin het. Is by die Cheetahs. En ongelukkig, die ongeluk is dat die Cheetahs was nog al die tyd die voedingsbron op die teelaarde vir die ander spanne gewees. Ek meen as jy kyk na Andre Joubert, jy kyk na Henry Hannibal, jy kyk na daai ouens. Ollie Leroux, Frans Steyn. Weet al daai ouens kom uit die Vrystaat uit. En ek meen kyk wat hoe hoog is daai ouens bereik. En ongelukkig nie by die Vrystaat nie, maar wel by ander spanne.
Ja nee, daai is buite, maar kyk Grey Bloem is nog steeds 'n massive skool, nee, dis
Ja,
Kyk waar lê hulle nog
word
steeds in die top 10. Kyk waar lê hulle in elke jaar
ja,
in en uit, in en uit. Kyk, hulle sê
ja.
mos, hoe is daai grappie wat hulle sê, hoe weet jy 'n ou kom van Grey af? Hy sal vir jou sê.
Ja, ja. Nee, hy sal vir jou sê, nee, definitief.
Ja,
Nee, definitief.
nee. En ek wonder as ou soos ou Willie Weppener. Hy het ook flippend lank vir ons gespeel. Hy het ook 'n hele
Mm.
paar wedstryde gedoen.
Ja, nee, hy het. Nee, hy het. Nee, hy het. Maar ek meen selfs as jy kyk na Willie Leroux, né? Ek meen hy kom ook van die Vrystaat af. Maar die feit
Mm.
weet alleen waar hy skeef gegaan het met sy balhantering. Ek weet nie waar hy verkeerd gegaan het want toe hy vir die Cheetahs gespeel het, was daar nie 'n probleem nie. Maar nou ewe skielik goeie genade, hy nok en hy vang mis en hy is nie veilig onder die hoë bal nie en lyk my ernstig sy self-confidence ook 'n nok gevat.
Yeah, I mean, it's thinking about that as you're mentioning that. I was like, yeah, it's strange how that happens to players sometimes. And I'm thinking now of some of the players that have left us, where you know the plan was they were going to greener pastures,
Yeah,
but then they just haven't risen to the occasion. But then of course,
exactly.
there's other players who have gone on, and it's like, oh wow, okay, now they're even better, But yeah,
Yeah.
when you look at the greener pastures ones who haven't worked out, it's like,
Well,
Dis ou
I
ou
mean,
lappies.
if you look at the two Eberson brothers, you
mm,
look at Heinrich Brosseau. Heinrich
mhm,
Brosseau, I mean, at one stage he was our best flank forward. He was the best fetcher.
yeah,
Okay, and the coach just said he's too small.
mm,
But yet, I mean, looking at in Super Rugby, um, that guy stole balls from guys twice his size.
exactly.
So yeah. But as I say, there's a couple of guys that's really, really been done in badly by selectors having their own favorite players and having like a horse blinkers on,
Mm,
tunnel
mm,
vision, and not seeing the guys that are actually doing the hard yards and hard graft,
yeah,
and really will give their last ounce of strength
mm,
to play, and they will not disappoint you. But yeah, that's unfortunately it has been like that now for the past couple of years, and it's sad. It's sad to see that.
yeah. No, definitely. I mean, I think one of the takeaways from that as well is just that there's got to be a clear picture that coaches want.
Yeah,
Because where it gets sad sometimes is where a coach will be seemingly open about, like, oh, I want players in this position to do this. A player will
mm,
go and do that, and they'll have the work rate, and they have this, and they have like they have everything that the coach has asked for, and it's like, yeah, no, look, we're just not picking him because, and now suddenly the goalpost shift, and the goalpost shift, and the goalpost shift, and you're like, well,
yeah, yeah.
you know, at least stick to the one thing, and you can even give the person one opportunity. If they don't make the most of it, or if
Exactly.
you feel they haven't shown you enough, you can say, hey, look, we gave the opportunity.
You
Yeah,
can.
considering how much
Yeah.
competition there is in this, we can only give that one.
I mean, you could have taken those guys on the end of the year tour, give them
Hmm.
one game.
Yeah.
Be it against maybe Italy or some team like that, and
Hmm.
see how they perform, and
Yeah.
then make up your mind. Don't just not pick him because
Mm,
you've got this preset idea of what you want, and then
absolutely.
you select players that goes over that's not on form, and
Hmm.
they disappoint you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Ja, maar
exactly. It's a tricky one.
die ander ding om
Yeah.
Eugene, ouers ook so pous om jou spelers moet afgerig word. Jy kan nie 'n afrigter kan ook nie net spelers koop en koop en koop soos ou Plumtree nou gesien het. Hy het gekoop en gekoop en gekoop, maar hy self kan nie hulle afrig nie. So nou lyk daai sterspelers lyk nou swak. Of
Yeah,
gooi
that's
hulle in
okay.
watse span nou? Hulle is nou so gered, hulle confidence is deur die planke. Dit gaan
Yeah,
lank vat vir
definitely.
hulle om weer hulle self op te bou. Maak nie saak na wat se unie toe, wat se span hulle gaan nie. Dit gaan 'n rukkie vat om hulle confidence weer terug te kry.
Ja, maar ek meen 'n klassieke voorbeeld nou is Kevin Bosch. Wat nou besluit het okay, hy gaan nou oor see. Miskien is dit 'n goeie ding. Miskien bou hy sy selfvertroue daaroor kant op. Mens weet nooit. Ehm Enigiets is moontlik. Maar ek meen soos gesê in die begin net na die wêreldbeker het almal gesê ja nee wel Rassie oogmerk Kevin Bosch as die volgende Springbok loskakel. Nee, ook Koos. Nie op sy huidige vorm nie, definitief nie.
Nee, ek glo nie hy sal naby Springbok kom soos hy nou speel nie. Ek
Ja,
glo
nee,
nie. Hulle
definitief
sal
nie.
eerder maar vir Manie Libbok weer vat as wat hulle vir Kevin Bosch gaan vat.
Ja, wel kom laat ek dit so stel. Ek dink Manie Libbok op sy ergste speel nog steeds beter as Bosch op die stadion.
En daai is feite. Daai is feite. Hoorie so?
Eh,
Man, ja mooi, continue.
Yeah, I was going to say, with Bosch, the one question that pops into my mind now is where on the Sharks ladder is he? Because Sia Masuku showed that, yeah, he's very comfortable as the starting 10. And now with them also getting Jordan, where does that leave Bosch? Because, look, the good news for Bosch is he can play 10, he can play 15. But the bad news for Bosch is, at 10, there's two very capable 10s who the Sharks could go with. And at 15, there's also Fassi is there. And I'm trying to remember if they have another 15 who could play. But, you don't want to be number 2 or number 3 in the position where you should be the guy everyone's looking to unseat.
Well, I think that is also was a contributing factor to Bosch making the decision because he could see on his present form, with Jordan
Mm.
coming over and what's his name being there, he was going to be third string.
Mm.
And you'll be lucky if he gets maybe 2, 3, 4 games a season. So go overseas, go earn some good bucks.
Yeah.
Try and regain your confidence and your ability to your natural ability that you had before your confidence
Mhm.
took a knock. Basically go back to the roots
Yeah.
and regain your confidence and come back as a better player. And then you can say, right, I'm back, and I'm sure that the selectors and everybody else will monitor the way he plays overseas, the same as they do with
Mm.
all the other players, and then let's see what happens.
Exactly. And he's someone who legitimately could come back and filter into the Sharks coaching structures.
Yeah,
Either kicking capacity or working with the juniors.
yeah,
Once he's done playing. So yeah, I think the move overseas is definitely a good move for him in many, many ways.
well, not only that, I mean, Bosch is still fairly young.
Yeah.
So he can go play 3 seasons overseas and still come back and still play.
Mm.
Barring any injuries.
Yep.
So, he can slot in basically, coming back, after 2 or 3 years overseas, he can come back, and play a vital role, not only in the Shark side, but basically any other side in the country.
Yep.
Wherever he decides to go. The opportunities is there.
Yep. True.
Hoor julle, kan ek so gou so vinnig 'n klipjie in die bos
Sure,
gooi? Nie so
sure.
vinnig. Het julle gesien die Crusaders het alweer verloor?
Yep,
Ek weet nou nie meer wat
Yeah.
gaan aan daar nie. Ek kan dit nie glo nie. 4 in 'n ry, 4 in 'n ry.
yep.
Daar's groot probleme daar.
Yeah, I think Razor no longer being there has affected them quite drastically. And you know what? I think it shows in a way that the measure of the man, right? Because I think Tony Brown, our new attack coach for the Box, was saying that, hey, Razor's gift is that he knows how to bring out the best in the players he works with. And you can see where, it's not like they've lost all their players. I think they've lost a few, sure. But where a lot of the team is still the same, how have they slumped to losing 4 in a row? How are they losing to Fiji Drua? These are teams that they were putting away quite comfortably, but they're getting stunned. They're getting stunned. They're
Yeah.
getting stunned.
And the Waratahs, also one of those 4 that they lost
Yeah.
to, the Waratahs.
I mean,
I don't know.
But Niels,
Ja,
isn't the Crusaders also a team that Kobus supports?
ja, ek glo so met sy Nieu-Seeland. Liefde
Yeah,
vir Nieu-Seeland glo ek hy gaan Crusaders.
I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering what his thoughts on that is.
Kyk, om eerlik te wees, dit is my tweede span in die Super Rugby gewees. Dit was die Lions en die Crusaders. Daai 2 keer se finale was vir my hemel op aarde, want ek maak nie
Yeah,
saak wie verloor nie, ek is nog steeds happy. So my
yeah.
hart is nog 'n bietjie seer vir die Crusaders met die 4 losses. Al ken hulle as 'n span wat hulle het al 'n paar keer verloor hulle eerste of hulle tweede op eerste en tweede game en dan van daar af dan trek hulle los en dan wen hulle die beker. Maar 4 in
Yeah.
'n ry. Nee,
Nee,
dis nie die Crusaders daai nie.
nee, dat is ongewoon hoor, totaal en al. Dat is buiten, hoe kan ik zeggen, buiten normaal is ongewoon, dat is zoals je zegt. Ja, nee, je weet, rugby is een onvoorspelbare game, maar helemaal om vier games in een rij te verloren. Ik meen, dus die Lions om 4 games in een rij te verloren, dan gaan we beginnen vragen. Ek weet na die derde game gaan ons sê luister hier so cash. Wat jy pay and why.
But I have a question because I didn't watch those 4 games. What was the quality of the losses? Like, do they look like they have a plan, but it's execution? Do they look like they don't have a plan? Because if it's the former, at least we know it might be a matter of time. And sure, this season might be a write-off for them, but come next season, they'll be back to form. But if it's the latter, yeah, that's not an encouraging sign.
I have not seen one of their games, to be honest with you. I basically just read the write-ups of after the games, and not very flattering comments and write-ups on them. Basically saying they without a game plan. The players seems like they're not sure what to do. They basically got no confidence. Not only confidence in the team, but also confidence in themselves.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing. Confidence becomes a very, very, very tricky one.
Ek het daai eerste een gekyk in die Chiefs, nê. En ja, die Chiefs het vir hulle dom gemaak. Rarig, hulle was heeltyd. Ek dink in daai game, nee, ek praat onder correction nou. Het die Crusaders die eerste keer aan die bal gevat hier in die 32ste minuut,
Goeie
buite
genade.
in die afskop. Dit was rof. Die Chiefs hulle het nie antwoorde gehad nie. Hulle het verdedig en almal weet jy kan nie 80 meter lank 'n game net verdedig
Nee,
nie.
kan nie.
Jy
Nee,
moet
kan nie.
aanval ook. Jy kan nie games wen met verdediging. Jy moet aanval ook. En jy moet die bal hê om te kan aanval. Nee, die Chiefs het hulle gesink in die eerste helfte verskriklik hoor. Verskriklik. Alles het net vir hulle gewerk. Damian McKenzie het een groot game gehad. Hy het alles gedikteer daarso. Maar die enetjie nou van wat hulle nou laaste gespeel het in die Hurricanes. Ek weet nie, ek het net hoor net mense praat van ou en Frank se daarso 'n bietjie boeboe gemaak en dis hoekom die game verloor het. So ek weet nie presies wat daar gebeur het nie. Die een met daai Fijian Droa glad nie gekyk nie en die Waratahs game het ek glad ook nie gekyk nie. So ek weet nie wat het daar by daai games gebeur
Anders
nie.
sou ek sê ek het glad nie ek het nog nie een van my games gekyk nie. Maar soos ek sê, ek lees maar waar daar geskryf word op van die rugby blaaie en so aan. En soos ek sê, wie die oorwegende ding is maar wie die ouens praat, wie die ouens het nie die ouens het nie confidence en hulle het ook die game plan nie. Jy weet so wie das confidence ontbreek, dan gaan jy nie die game plan hê. As jy game plan hê, as jy nie 'n game plan het, gaan jy confidence ontbreek. So altyd daai is absoluut vital om 'n suksesvolle game te hê.
Die van die Nieu-Seeland spanne nê, die Chiefs vir my nou maar of dit die ouens gaan wees wat hom daar kan vat hierdie jaar. En die Chiefs lyk in elke game wat hulle speel lyk hulle gevaarlik. Die Blues, ek het nog nie 'n Blues game gekyk nie. Maar as ek kyk waar hulle op hulle lock en goed, is die Blues doen besonder goed. En die Highlanders het die bus uitgeval. Ek weet nie waar na toe hulle op pad nie. Hulle het ook die bus uitgeval saam met die Crusaders. Heeltemal. Die Hurricanes, hulle lê ek dink heel bo op die lok. Hulle doen nog goed. Maar die Highlanders en Crusaders sukkel.
Ja. Maar wat sê julle van hierdie naweek se game wat verby is? Ag my genade. Nee, 6 nasie.
Vir Ierland. Ierland het verloor het.
Ja.
Ja, hulle het dit nie verwag nie. Kyk, dit gebeur as ou groot kop kry. Want die hele ding is hulle hou aan. As hulle ons in die finaal gespeel het met die Wêreldbeker, sou hulle gewen het. Hulle het nie en hulle sou ook nie. Want
nee, dit is so.
Hulle sou ons nie gewen het nie.
Ja, nee, so ek sê ek lees ook maar die koerantopskrifte en skryf op van die rugby blaaie. Nee, die here is maar nog steeds hoe kan ek sê omgeëlie. En weet hulle maak vreeslike uitlatings ten opsigte van die Springbokke. Weet die ding is soos jy sê, hulle was nie daar nie, maar so en as hulle daar was, sou hulle ook op hulle hel gekry het.
Maar nou gepraat ons van die 6 nasies, nê? Dit voel nie vir my soos ander jare se 6 nasies nie. Waar jy duidelike 2 spanne het wat oorheers en dan jy hierdie bottom 12. Daar het Engeland vir dinge so gewen. Italië en wie was dit? Italië en Frankryk wat gelyk op gespeel het.
Ja.
En net laas jaar was Frankryk hierdie favourite om die Wêreldbeker te wen. Nou gaan drol dit in Italië. So dis net Wales wat dalk uit die bus uitval, shame. Hulle het nog nie enetjie gewen nie. Maar die ding is, het hulle rugby dan so ver eintlik agteruit gegaan dat die topspanne afgekom het om die laer standaarde te meet of het die laer standaard ouetjies skielik opgeklim behalwe nou vir Wales. Hulle het seker nog nie begin speel nie.
Wel kom dat ek so stel. Ek mens jy kyk na die spanne. wat nou speel teen die spanne wat in die Wêreldbeker gespeel het. Daar's nie veel verskil nie, hoor. En dan vra jy jouself die vraag af, jy weet. Het hulle confidence, het hulle self-image, hulle selfbeeld, hulle whatever, so groot nok gevat dat hulle nie deurgegaan het sy semis of final toe. En dat hulle nou voel, ag, die ses nasies is soos maar net nog 'n game. Jy weet, is nie die trots is nie meer daar nie. Ek dink party van die spelers is basies baie naby aan hulle self by date. Maar nou ja, jy weet, mense kan nou nie pyl trek op, jy weet, wat presies daar verkeerd gaan of verkeerd gegaan het. Veral by Wallace.
Yeah, I do wonder though, with like for instance, if we look at Ireland and we look at France. France, obviously, okay. The two teams both relied heavily on one player. I think the difference now is Ireland have people who are going to be very keen, especially because their head coach is going to be the British and Irish Lions coach. They have something more to prove. Whereas with France, it's like, well, yeah, we can win the Six Nations, but hey, next World Cup is 4 years ago. Well, 4 years away, I should say. You know, there might be that whole thing of where they'll play, but it's not a, hey, every game, we're going to treat every game like a final. Which, in some ways, I kind of wish they would, because that will be a lethal France. That, honestly, will be a lethal France. But,
definitely.
Yeah. But you get that feeling that they're a bit deflated.
Yeah. Although, you know, it seems like they're thinking, you know, playing in the Six Nations compared to the World Cup, you're like kissing your sister, or your cousin.
Exactly.
But for them, they should take it like we play the old Four Nations that we call now the Champions Cup.
Yeah.
They must take pride in that and play for everything. To yourself, even if okay, you lost in the World Cup, but look, I'm still in shape. I'm still performing. Just don't go lie down and say, "Oh well, don't care anymore."
Look, I mean, the Six Nations basically is the Europe. You can call it. Let's call it the European Cup. Okay. And I mean, to be crowned basically European champion. You know, it's like in soccer, the Euro Cup. You know, there should be some form of pride, or you know, you should be able to say, right, listen here, let's go out and win this thing, okay? And we can say, right, we are champions of Europe. We are the Six Nations champion, okay?
Yeah.
And you know, when other teams come over and play against you, you know, it doesn't matter which team it is, be it the Box, the All Blacks, the Aussies, or doesn't matter. Okay, you will have that self-confidence, or the confidence of being a champion, be it Six Nations or whatever, and the other team will then basically think, okay, you know, we're not just playing a second-ranked team. Yeah, we're playing guys that really played well and won the Six Nations Cup. So I don't know. I really and truly do not know how those guys think.
And that is the mining, as you can say, the mining for them, for the next up and coming players. You want to start them in the Six Nations, not in the World Cup. This is your building blocks. This is where you start, and then you can take your other international testers as well and use that. But yeah, they don't care. They don't care. Not like
And,
we say they don't care, but it seems like they don't care. It's not the same standard that we used to with Six Nations. This year it's not the same.
no, no.
Yeah, correct, correct.
I mean, after all the hype of the World Cup and everything, you think, okay, next up is your Six Nations.
Mm,
Looking at the quality of rugby those teams played in the World Cup, you were looking forward to some entertaining games and a really, really good quality of rugby. And they're not delivering it.
yeah. I will say I agree with that, but Italy looked far better this Six Nations than they did in the World Cup.
No, definitely, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
and it's so odd for me because I don't know what happened in the World Cup because they seemed like they were on the up prior to it and then just folded. And I can say a similar thing with Argentina. Argentina were not looking bad before the World Cup, and then they just I mean, in fairness,
Yeah.
they still they still got to what the semis, so it's not all doom and gloom for them. But you really thought that given their performances, especially against England, you just felt like, guys, this is an English team they could have and really should have beaten.
And
No,
even
they should have.
Fiji. Even Fiji,
Correct,
I was counting
correct.
on Fiji to perform because they have that All Black players that can play for Fiji
Yes.
now. But yeah, the wheels came
Well,
off.
let me put it to you this way. I mean, can you imagine the Argentinians winning the semi-final and going through to the final?
Yeah.
What that would have meant for Argentinian rugby, and they would have brought
Yeah.
not only the A game, they would have brought
En
the A++ game.
en oom, ek dink dis sou vir Rassie 'n kopsie gegee het want ek dink nie hy sou gekant het
Definitief.
om 'n plan teen Argentinië te gehad het
Correct.
nie. Ek dink hy het klaar
Correct.
geweet ons gaan Frankryk, ons gaan so die Ire gaan die
Ja.
All Blacks uithaal. So hy het dit klaar geweet. As daar 'n spanner in die hoof moes kom met Argentinië, kon dit dalk 'n surprise gewees het. 'n Groot een.
Correct. So yeah, nee, look, the top six teams in the World Cup. I think well, Argentina really performed well to get to the semis, and look, the other teams basically got there because of past performances. So you almost expected them to be there. But
Yeah.
yeah, for the All Blacks to fall out, I mean, really, that came as a shocker. Um, but yeah, it just shows you, don't go to the World Cup, on name only. You actually got to turn up at the park and play.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ek het nou die naweek. Ons is 'n bietjie terug by JRC, né? Ons
Yeah.
speel Konak. Wat dink julle gaan ons daai game vat? Ek hoor die mense sê dit gaan bietjie reën daar. Hier is 64% kans vir reën. Maar dit worry my nou nie meer so erg nie. Na die bulle game wat ons daai nat game gespeel of ekskuus die Sharks game. Pla die nat game my nie meer soveel nie. Ons het gewys ons kan.
Nee, definitief. Wel, Niels, kom ek sê dit vir jou so. As die ouens dieselfde intensiteit, né? En met dieselfde dryf en wil om te wen. Speel soos hulle gespeel het in die Sharks, gaan Konat op hulle hel kry. Dis verseker. Die ouens moet nou net nie dink, okay, ons het die Sharks nou so ver gewen, weet Konat gaan 'n walk in 'n park wees nie, want dan gaan ons dalk net op ons guava slip. Die ouens moet gaan en hulle moet elke game benader asof dit basies 'n final is, en hulle moet speel 80 minute lank, nie net 40 minute of die eerste 40 minute weet poer en dink ag wat ons sal die tweede helfte opmaak. Ek dink
Ja, en soos met wat was laas jaar, né? Wat ons daai eerste toetse, daai eerste 3 wat ons Ospreys en dinge se gespeel het, te Edinburgh, wat ons al 3 daai punte gaan haal het. Nou eindig ons met so toer. Want nou, dis belangrik, want as ons nie nou die wenne gaan inryg nie, dis nou waar ons nou beklei vir ons top 8 spot. Ons is 5 punte daarvan weg om, ek dink wat, ek het nou gepost die log daar, om 5de te wees, 6de, kort ons net 'n bonuspunt, wen. Dan is ons klaar daar, maar nou moet jy hom verdedig, want jy is op toer. Jy speel weer 'n game daarna, en nog 'n game daarna.
Yeah, I think one concerning thing, because it's the thing that everyone's hyping up. It's like, well, I think no South African team has beat Connacht away. Now, good news is this is the first time for everything. And really, I think now we should have the confidence and we should have the drive to get it done. I think even with the injuries that we have capable replacements. Eric Renier has shown, actually, from the way he played against the Sharks, he showed hunger and he showed drive. And I think that's going to put us in good stead. But we have to be really careful to play the game the way it should be played, and careful as well with, just not giving the ball away unnecessarily, especially because it's going to be raining sideways. Now, if it's raining sideways and you're going to try to kick, well, that might be a bit tricky.
Yes, Moya, and the other thing, in like wet weather, those G6 fields, do they take up the moisture easily, or rather than to normal grass, or does it stay longer wet on those synthetic fields?
I'm trying to think now, because I've seen it where you can aquaplane a little bit, but I think it does drain. It does drain better. It won't be, I'm thinking back to that game from the '95 World Cup, I think, against Australia, where like it was just water everywhere. Well, it won't get to that, but
Almost
you still will get. Yeah. I think it won't quite get to that levels, but I think that the drainage is supposed to be a bit better with that.
Well, with the '95 World Cup, the game against France in Durban.
Yes, sorry, that was it.
I was there. I went down to Durban. Yeah, I went down to Durban to go and play in a baseball tournament over that weekend. But with the amount of rain around, we never got to playing one single baseball game.
Oh wow!
And the one guy that played with us, he was one of the senior managers at SA Druggers, and he managed to get us tickets, but on an open stand. Goodness gracious me, we almost drowned.
I can imagine.
It was a nightmare. I mean, you took a raincoat, but I mean, after the first 10 minutes, that the seep through right through the raincoat, and it was absolutely a nightmare. But as you say, aquaplaning, the guys were slipping and sliding all over the place. And to be quite honest with you, with it being a wet game, I really expected France to win that game because of the type of weather they used to playing in.
Exactly.
And thank goodness we pulled that one off.
Absolutely.
En kyk, jy moet weet jy is in die moeilikheid as die assistant ref begin scuba gear al kry, dan moet jy weet, groot waters gaan val.
Yeah, no, sure.
Mooi.
Yeah.
Yeah, continue.
No, I was going to say, overall, really excited for Saturday's game. And look, I think it is that we're up for the challenge. We really are, and I think a it'll be quite beautiful if we manage to do well in all three games, and we then get that fourth game, because if I remember correctly, we've never beaten Connacht, right? Ospreys we lost to rather than they beat us. Like we had no business losing against Ospreys in the Challenge Cup game, and then Benetton beat us in URC. So when we face them in Challenge Cup, it's these are fixtures where it's like, hey, you know what? If we want to show ourselves as contenders, these are the ones to win that will really put us in very, very good contention.
En ons gaan 'n sterk span kry by hulle, want ek dink nie hulle het ouens wat weg is by die ses nasies en goed nie. Hulle is nie 'n weekend span nie. Ek dink ons gaan
that's the thing. They have a few guys who are in the Irish Six Nations team, but those guys will probably be available for them. But even without those guys, this is a team that is quite potent, and they've shown as well, like even now in the rounds that were happening in the Six Nations, that they're no slouches. Even when they're missing the guys who are playing for Ireland.
No, well, let's look at it this way. I think if the Lions go into this game with a mindset of, let's go out, give it our best, and let's win the game. The reason being, that will give you the confidence boost. Two big games in a row, beating the Sharks by the margin they did, beating Connacht in Ireland, away from home.
Mhm.
That will give you such a confidence boost for the last couple of games in the URC. And that will just motivate the guys even more to play better rugby. And
Yes.
who knows what can happen?
Yeah.
Let's just hope that's a mindset that the guys will go into it with.
Yeah.
Ek gaan 'n kans waag. Ek gaan sê Lions gaan wen met 5 punte.
Yeah. I can back that.
I'll go between 5 and 7.
Van 5 en 7. Okay,
I would love it to be 7 for the bonus point. So yeah.
Kyk, met die Sharks game het ek gesê ek dink ons gaan met 4 wen. Toe wen ons met 40. So nou gaan ek met 5. Ek hoop uiteindelik 50. Maar ek wil nie die 50 hard sê nie, so dan sê ek net 5.
Ja. Nee, ek hoor wat jy sê nie.
Kyk, 50 is bietjie wild. Nee, ons hou maar by die 5. Ons hou by 5.
Kyk, as dit 'n nat game gaan wees, as dit 'n nat veld gaan wees, gaan dit 'n baie close game wees. As die veld nie nat is nie, kan dit 'n redelik goeie hardloop game wees. En soos ek sê, as die Lions speel soos hulle gespeel het teen die Sharks, gaan Connacht bietjie moet baan staan. En ek dink die ouens veral weet as hulle vorendag kom met 'n ding soos met Nwamba. Ek dink hy gaan daai ure so kant van hulle gaan nie weet wat om te doen nie. So ja, kom ons hoop en bid dit dis 'n goeie game en op die einde van die dag dat die Lions die pyp breek.
Gaan sê julle, mooi het gevra as moet dit asseblief nie te lank oor 'n uur gaan of iets nie.
Nee, reg.
Want hy het nou goed om te gaan pak en mooi jy moet veilig ry nê. Jy moet nou nie
asseblief.
moet heel daar aan die kant kom dat jy nou volgende week ons kan join weer en ons kan vertel bietjie van daai sport van jou.
Yeah. I'm hoping, I'm hoping I'll have good stories and gold medals to talk about.
Ja, stuur us 'n
No,
couple
that's
of
good.
photos. Stuur us 'n couple
Yeah.
of photos.
Yes. No, I definitely will. Definitely will.
Okay, dankie julle.
Okay,
Cool.
sure.
Thanks so much, guys.
Go well, Moya, and enjoy, and be safe, my friend.
Thank you. Likewise,
Okay,
all the best.
thank you.
Dankie
All
julle.
right.
Lekker aan.
Okay, myself, okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.